I'm Jess Sargus, high-performance speaker, certified mental performance mastery coach, and your guide to mastering your mental game. I went from Ivy League trained attorney to undefeated MMA fighter and back again. Now I help high achievers in any field live with fierce agency, deep alignment, and the power to win consistently when it matters most. You can do it all when you train your mindset, energy, and focus like elite athletes. That's why this is the Legal Athlete Podcast, where each week I use neuroscience, performance psychology, and real-world battle-tested strategies to help you unlock sustainable excellence, bold decisions, and the courage to show up each day as the badass you are. Green light. Let's go. Welcome back to the Legal Athlete Podcast. Today's episode is a little bit different. I'm just going to give you some thoughts that I wanted to share with you this week. Next week, we'll get a little bit deeper into some more topics with some more neuroscience, high performance techniques. But today, I wanted to talk to you about freedom. When we think of freedom, most of us picture circumstances, time, money, or maybe the absence of someone telling us what to do. But I want to flip that today because true freedom isn't external, it's internal. Freedom is living in full alignment with your authentic self, your core values, and the aspirations that matter most to you. Carl Jung put it this way: the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That line stops me in my tracks every time. Jung's work reminds us that authenticity isn't a luxury, it's a psychological necessity. And when we ignore our inner compass, we fracture ourselves. We waste time and energy on what doesn't truly serve us most. We present masks to the world while burying the parts that make us feel whole. Amy Cuddy, in her book Presence, adds another dimension. She talks about how being present is not about pretending to be fearless or perfect. It's about aligning our values, our emotions, and our behaviors so that what we feel inside matches how we show up outside. That congruence, she argues, and I'll argue too, is personal power. And what it really is freedom. Think about the opposite too. When you live out of alignment, chasing goals that don't matter to you or performing roles that don't fit, you're constantly managing perception. You're looking outward, self-conscious, and drained. That's not freedom. That's captivity in disguise. Anyone who's ever experienced the feeling of golden handcuffs knows exactly what I'm talking about. But when you act in alignment with your authentic self, there's a flow to your life. Decisions get simpler, and courage comes more easily. You feel rooted even when external circumstances are uncertain. And that's the space where high performance is sustainable and fulfilling. Because you're not burning energy managing the gap between who you really are and who you think you should be. So, last thing I'll leave you with, your actionable takeaway is today's challenge. Take the time this weekend or this next week, if that's when you're listening, to pause and ask yourself 2 questions. First, what do I value most deeply? Beyond achievement, beyond image or external markers of success, what do I value most deeply? And then second question, where in my life am I living out of sync with that value, with what I value most deeply? The gap between those 2 answers is the gap between stress and freedom. It's the margin between self-abandonment and self-leadership and personal power. When you close that margin, when you close that gap, you will feel the difference. The last thought for today, freedom isn't about just breaking chains outside of you or freedom from. It's the freedom to. It's about unlocking the alignment inside of you. Jung knew it, Amy Cuddy teaches it, and you can live it. Because the privilege of a lifetime, your lifetime, is to become who you truly are. That's a wrap. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Legal Athlete Podcast. If today's episode fired you up or gave you something to train with, hit follow, leave a review, and share it with a fellow high achiever who's ready to raise their game. Want to bring this energy to your team, firm, or event? Or are you ready to train for your next high-stakes moment with me directly? Click the link in the show notes to connect. I'm Jess Sargus, and I coach the bold, lawyers, leaders, and anyone ready to lead their life with fierce agency. Green light. Let's go.